Hello,
Hi,
Mario.
how are you?
Baruch Hashem, how are you feeling?
Okay, better now. My eye is
Yeah.
still red, but
How often do you get this treatment?
8 weeks.
Every 8 weeks?
hmm But
It's
this
going to be
time
pain.
it's taking a bit longer to clear. I don't know why. Tell me, what are we doing? Are we still sure? So they started Avodah
So
Zara.
we're doing the Daf for Avodah Zara,
Which
and
one?
then so we should be on, I think, Dalit.
Oh, okay.
We should be on Dalit. It's Shabbos on Shabbos like that, and then we do one page from Shavuos, one daf from Shavuos.
What number in
And that's what we
Shavuot?
did last on Friday.
45 should be in Shavuot.
Shavuos, yeah, 45.
Okay. All right. Mhm. Hello, Walter.
Oh, sure.
How are you?
Mhm.
Hello, everybody. Avodah Zara,
Hello.
Dalet Amid Aleph. We say that at the Olam Haba, Hakadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring out the sun, and it's like Gehenim for the Rishonim, and the Tzaddikim are going to be cured by it. Rishoni Donim Ba'Dichsiv Kinei Yom Ba, the day will come Bo'er Batanur, like a furnace. Vayukol Zedim, L'chol Hosei Risha, all the wicked people will be kash, will be straw. V'lihet otam hayom haba, Hashem will fire them up. Amar Hashem tzvakos asher lo yazov lahem shorish v'anav. They won't have a root or branch. Lo shorish b'ol mazeh, v'lo anaf olam haba. Tzadikim is rapim ba, but tzadikim will be healed by the sun. Chsiv v'zarch lahem yirei shmi, shemesh tzedakah umarpeh b'chnafeh. The shemesh will be a marpeh. V'lo od, ela mishadnin ba. They're like fatten. Shnemar v'yitzeitem ufishtem keglei marbek, like a fattened calf. Davar acher ma dogim shbayam, kol hagadol mechaver bolez chaver. In the world of the fish, the bigger fish eat the smaller fish. Af bnei adam yamali marosh al malchus. If it wasn't for the fear of the king, kol hagadol mechaver bolez chaver. Whoever is stronger would swallow the other person. This is in 1660. famous political tract was written called the Leviathan, which was like the beginning of political science. Also, he talked about the social contract that people give up some aspect of their independence to the king in return for security, because everyone's neighbor wants to cut the guy's throat. That was the theory of Leviathan. We should always daven for the government. It wasn't for the government providing security, everyone's neighbor would be slitting their throats. Rav Chanina bar Papa Rami, Ksiv, Shaddai lo metzauni sagi koach, that we don't see the koach of Hashem. Ksiv gadol Adonai nevrav koach, we do see it. Ksiv yamin Hashem nevrav koach, lo kasha. Kan b'shas hadin, when he's meeting out din, we see the koach. No, b'shas hadin he has rachamim, so we don't see his koach. B'shas milchama, when he fights with the enemies, we see his koach. Rabbi Chaba Rabbi Chanina Rami Ksiv, chema ainli. I have no chema. Chema means anger. Uksiv no kema Hashem ubal chema. Says Hashem is a bal chema. Loi kasha. Can be Israel. Can be Masoilam. By chema for Klal Yisrael he doesn't have chema, but for the Gumos he does. Rabbi Chanina Papa Amar chema ainli shekvar nishbati. I took a shvua that I want this for Klal Yisrael. Mi itneni shelo nishbati. I hadn't alavai that I wouldn't take the shvua. Shami v'shis b'milchama. I would have been strong in milchama. Hainu damar of Alexandri. My dichsiv haya bayom hahu avakesh lashmid es kol hagoyim. Avakesh mimi. Who does HaKadosh Baruch Hu have to get permission from? It's not avakesh. It's I'm going to find. I'm going to check. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu avakesh b'nikvei shelahem. I will check their lists. Im yesh lahem zchus efte. If they have zechuyos merits, I will redeem them. V'im lav ashmidem. If not, I'll destroy them. Hainu damar rava. My dichsiv ach lo bo yishalach yad im befido lahen shua. Amar HaKadosh Yisrael kishani danis Yisrael. When I judge the Jews, enemy danosam kumosolam. Dichsiv Iva asimena. I don't add up all their avoinos, so it's a big for the Jews. Elani niframen kepid shel tarnagola. I punish them for small little averes. I don't add them up. Dover acher, afilu en Yisrael oisim mitzvah lefonai kimaat. Even if the Jews are only doing a little bit of mitzvahs, kepid shel tarnagolim, like a chicken shemenakrin bashba that pecks at the garbage. Ani mitzarfen l'cheshbon gadol. I add up the mitzvahs to a big number. Davar acher, bischar shemashvain, that we daven, right, from the lashon of shivisi Hashem, kenegdi tamid. Bischar shemashavin lefanai, they are davening in front of me. Ani moshia osam, I save them. Hainu damar rava ma'itich siv, v'anochi efteim, v'hema dibru like kizbim. Even though I redeemed them, they speak bad about me. I take away their money, so that all the schuyas will accrue for Olam Haba. Hashem is angry with them. He has zam. I removed my arms, and yet they thought it bad. I wanted to give the Jews Yisrael in this world, so that their arms will be great in the next world. It's all for the good, but they thought I was bad for doing that. Now, Mishtabech Rav Avo Lemini, Rav Avo would tell the Minim, the heretics, that Rav Safra Sha'adim Gadolu, that Rav Safra was a great man. Shav Kulei Michsa de Tleis Rishonim. They exempted him 12 years for taxes. The relied on Rav Avo said that he was not in Gadol. Yom Echad Ashkechinu, they met up with Rav Safra. Armelek, they quoted a pasuk, Ksiv, Rak itchem yadati, mikol mishpachos adam alkein efkod alechem es kol avonosechem. You among the families of the nations, I will count their sins. Pasuk in Amos. I don't get it, said the meaning. If Hashem loves Klal Yisrael, why dafka them is he poiked over? Mandi isle sisi. Somebody who has anger. Barach me masikle. He throws it out against the person he likes. So Ishtik, Rav Safra didn't have an answer. They like wrapped a kerchief around his neck and were like choking him. Also, Rav Avo Ashkechinu, Rav Avo found what they were doing. Why are you chapping with Rav Safra? So they said to Rav Pop, they said to Rav Avo, you told us he was a great man. He didn't even know the pshat of this pasuk. When I told you he was not in Gadol, that's like Mishnayos. I didn't say that he was an expert in psukim. The reason for this is that Rav Safra was from Bavel. There were no heretics. There were no Christians in Bavel. In Eretz Yisrael, the Talmidei Chachamim had to debate with them about psukim. They would claim it relates to Yoshka, and we had to explain away those psukim. In Bavel, they didn't have no need to learn about all of that because they didn't have the same heretics there. They only dealt with Torah B'Chsav. Amrulei Maishna Ason Diaditin. How come the Chachmei Eretz Yisrael we know Mikra? Because you're constantly throwing psukim at us, debating us, what they mean. So we have to learn it to stay up on our toes. Inu lo maini, but they, the Chachamim don't know how to do it. Me said to Rav Avo, Lema lanatz, you explain the pasuk. I'll give you a parable. Adam, a person is trying to collect $1,000 from two people. One of them is his friend, one of them he hates. The one he loves gets to pay him off bit by bit. So that's Hashem keeps track bit by bit of the avoidance of Klal Yisrael rather than adding them up, so that he won't give them a punishment b'vasachas. Amrav Barkan and Maidichsiv, Avram Avinu by Stoim David, Chalil Lacham Me'asos Kadavar Hazeh, Lamit Tzadikim Rasha. There might be Tzadikim in Stoim. You're going to kill the Tzadikim with the Rishoim. What's this lashon Chalila? Amrav Avram Zakadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Shalom. Chulanu. It's a davar chulin. You're going to kill a tzaddik with a rasha. Break more of the law. What do you mean? Kodesh Baruch Hu does all the time. Baksiv, bichrati b'imchad tzaddik for rasha and Yechezkel. Sometimes tzaddikim and rishon will be killed. So that's tzaddik she'ein a gomer. A tzaddik who's not a gomer, he could end up destroyed along with the rishon. Break more of a tzaddik gomer low. What? A tzaddik gomer cannot vaksiv by the churban. Umimigdashai tichilu. I'm going to start with the Beis Hamikdash. The Tanur of Yosef. It's not altikra mimigdashai ella mimkodshai. My people who are holy, the people that make kiddush Hashem. Elu b'nei adam shekayim sator me'alef ataf. They do all the mitzvahs, and yet it seems that they were destroyed in the churban. Hasamnami, even though they were kind of kolatura, even try biyadam limchus, we could have protested against the Rishoim, v'lo michu, and they didn't. Havalu kitzadikim sheina gomor. So they're treated like tzadikim that are not gomor, and a tzadik sheina gomor can be swept up when Hashem punishes the Rishoim. Rav Papa Rami, ksiv, kel zoem b'chol yom. Hashem gets angry every day. Ksiv, lifnei zamo miyamo. Who can stand by the anger of Hashem? So mashma that he's not zoyim. Lo kasha kan b'yochid. A yochid cannot stand the kas of Hashem. But kan b'tzibur, there by a yochid he's not zoyim, but by a tzibur there's chusim amaruba, so he can be zoyim with a tzibur. Turn rabbanon. Kel zoyim b'chol yom. Kamazamo. How long is Hashem angry for? Rega. Kama rega. How much is a rega? Achas mechemosh ribo. 1 out of 53,848 out of an hour. Very short period. Zui rega. Vein kol beri chol chavin rega chutz mi bilam arisha. Nobody could calculate that specific time when Hashem was angry, except for Bilam, the Chsiv Bey. It says V'yodea das elyon. So how can we explain that he knows das elyon? Esher das behem to lo aviyata. Das elyon aviyata. He didn't even know the das of his behema. You're going to tell me he knows the das of Hashem? My das behem to lo aviyata. What do you mean he didn't know the das of his behema? The officers of Moab, of Balak, saw him riding on a donkey. Amrulay, my time how come you're not riding a horse? Armalu bertiva shadilay. He's grazing in the pond. Miyad v'tomer ason el bilam. Hello, anochi asoncha. I'm your ason. That you use me all the time. What are you giving them stories? Amarle, yeah, but l'te'ina ba'alma, I don't ride you. I use you for a beast of burden to schlep things. Amrle, so the donkey said to Bilam, Asher achavtolai. What do you mean? The Torah says you rode me. Amarle, akrai ba'alma. Yeah, only occasionally, not b'kviyas. Amarle, what do you mean? It says me'od chavar yom hazeh, every day. V'la'od, said the donkey, Elashani oislecha rechivas b'yom, v'ishus b'layla. You sleep with me at night. You commit bestiality with me at the nighttime. How do we know this? Ksivacha haskein iskanti. The Ason uses the words haskein iskanti. Uksiv harsham, when they brought Avishaga Shunami to David HaMelech, it says Vatilo sochenes, v'shachlo b'chekecha. She warmed him up. That's sleeping with someone. Elamai v'yodeh das elyon. Shayodeh el-chavin osa shosha kodesh baruch hu koyes. Bilam's skill was that he knew exactly when HaKadosh Baruch Hu was going to be angry, and he would curse. That's why Micha says, Amiz chorna mayotz bolak belach moach, u'ma'anaso bila b'mor. Remember the whole Maisa there, says Micha regarding Balak and Bilam. Minashitim v'ragilgal, mandat tzidkos Hashem. Hashem did its stalker for us. Amr Belazar. Amr HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ami, rukam et tzidkos asizim lechem, shlokasti lechem kolos nayomi. During that period of time, I didn't get angry, because I knew Bilam wanted to curse Klal Yisrael. But if Hashem doesn't get angry, he can't be mechavin the exact shah. And says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shim kwasi aleichem, if I would have gotten angry, lo nishtai mitzonim shel Yisrael tzarei poli. No Jew would have been left alive. Hainu kamer lei, Bilam lebalak. That's why Bilam said to Balak, Ma ekov lo kabo el, u'ma ezom lo zam Hashem. I can't curse because Hashem was not zoyim. V'kama zamo, How long? Rega. Kama rega, amra mema. V'item ravina, rega kamem. Like the amount of time it takes to say the word rega. Uminalan sherega have risqa. How do we know he's angry? The chsiv ki rega be'apo chayim birtzo. So af, charon af, is anger. V'boiser mehacha. Chavi kimat rega ad yavor zam. So zam is anger, rega. Maybe ema rosach. When does he become angry? The first 3 hours of the day. When the rooster's, the hair on his head when he crows turns white. What do you mean? His thing is white all the time. There's always a little bit redness in the white, but at that time there's no redness. There was a heretic, a Christian heretic, in a neighborhood of Rabbi Shimon Levi, who was chapping about psukim. Yom echad nakar tarnagola. Rabbi Shimon Levi got a rooster. V'ukme ben kardar, so he put it in his bed. V'ayin boy stared at it. So kimota hishaita altai. When this white loses its redness, I know that that's when Hashem is angry. I'll curse this min. Kimata hishaita nimne. But when this time came along, Rabbi Shimon Levi had fallen asleep. So he didn't curse it. Must be Hashem doesn't want me to curse this guy. Must be v'rachma v'kol masav ksiv. He's having rachman. Uksiv gam anosh l'tzadik lo tov. Sometimes it's not good for a punishment to delivered by a tzaddik. Tonim Mishmei Rav Meir. B'shosha melochim menichim kisrein b'roshem mishtach v'machama. What's the first 3 hours of the day? Why is Hashem angry? That's the time when the Goyish kings take off their crowns and they bow to the sun. Miyad koysa kadosh baruch hu. So that's why it's in the first 3 hours. Am Rav Yosef. Lo litzli inshit slusa de musre betlas shoyka maisa de yoyma b'yoyma kamed reishasa. Don't daven musaf the first 3 hours of the day on Rosh Hashanah when he davens b'yochid. Dilma kivin de mavkid dina. Dilma ma'ayni be'uv de v'dach v'lemitchi. This is a shas hadin, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will ma'ayin in the yochid, and they'll push him out of the world. So yochid tzibur nami. So maybe tefillah of tzibur also shouldn't be done then. At tzibur nefesh is a chusay. The tzibur has more merits, so we don't push them away. Yochid tzafar nami lo. What about tefillah shachris of the yochid? Maybe there also you shouldn't daven, not just musaf. Kiven the ikit tzibur to kamatri lo kamatri. Since during that time there are other tziburim davening, that protects the yochid. Va'amred shalosh rishonos HaKadosh Baruch Hu yoshev oseh b'Torah. Another source told us that the first 3 hours of the day Hashem is learning Torah. He's not doing judgment. So Eipech, you have to reverse the order. Don't reverse it. Why does the Yachid shouldn't daven musaf the first 3 hours of the day? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is learning Torah. And Torah dichsiv bo emes, dichsiv emes kaneva al timkor. It means in HaKadosh Baruch Hu osa lifnim efesadim. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu studies Torah, he doesn't go within the din. It means lifnei mishras din. He will go by strict din and not be lenient because of emes. HaKadosh Baruch Hu osa gam lifnei mishras din. That means when it's a din, Kadosh Baruch Hu will do mishras din. But Torah, since emes is associated with Torah, he has to be totally emes. Gufa. Arish ben Levi. My dichsiv, asher anochi mitzavcha yom lasosa. Hayom lasosim, you have to do the mitzvahs now. V'lo l'machol lasosim. Hayom lasosim, v'lo hayom litol schar. We do the mitzvahs, but we get the schar in Olam Haba. Amar v'od amar Shibin Levi kol mitzvah sheYisrael oisim l'mazeh, bos meidis osim l'Olam Haba. Mitzvahs that Jews do in this world, they testify for Jews in the next world. Shenemar yitnu edeim v'yatzdiku yishmu v'yomru emes. Yitnu edeim v'yatzdiku el Yisrael. Yishmu v'yomru emes el umas olam. That the umas olam will also, the truth will be told about them. Rabbi Shimon Levi, kol mitzvahs Yisrael oisim l'mazeh, bos v'torvus umas olam l'olam haba pneim. The mitzvahs the Jewish people do in this world will come in the next world and slap the goyim in their face. Shenemar ushmartem vasisem ki yichach baschem uvineschem leinei ha'amim. Meaning neged ha'amim. Means lo nemar el einei ha'amim. Mamish against their eyes. Malamed shabos v'torvus umas olam apneim lo'elam haba. Rabbi Shimon Levi, lo asu Yisrael sa'egel el litem pischon pel b'alit tshuva. The Dordeya that received the Torah, why did they worship the Egel? To give Musar Haskel to Bali Tshuva. You know, you can, even the worst sin, you can become a Bali Tshuva. Shenemar, if they were in such a great Maila, how did they worship the Egel? So to teach that you can be a Bali Tshuva on anything. Lo David Roy Loisa Maisa. David HaMelech also wasn't fit with the Maisa Batsheva. Lo Yisrael Roy Loisa Maisa. Yisrael were not Roy for the Cheta Ega. Lo David Roy Loisa Maisa Dechsiv V'libi Chalal B'kirbi. He didn't have even a Yetzer Hara. So he should have had an easy time to be shoylate on his Yetzer Hara. Lo Yisrael Ru'uyin Lo Oisa Maisa. Dechsiv Mitain Vayelav Avim Zelei Am Yirah Sikol Amim. Who would give that to have people who fear me like this? And Alama Asu to teach me the din of Vali Tshuva. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to hold on to Shavuos. We're going to come up to smaller blot in Avodah Zara where it's easier to do both blot.
Okay.
We'll gather at 8 o'clock for the Navi Shul.
And tomorrow?
Tomorrow, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
What time?
Let's make it 7:15.
7,
7:15.
7:15, yes.
7:15.
All right.
Okay, see you later.
See ya.